My name is JNTHN STEIN. I'm a music producer and beat maker based in Brooklyn, New York. And I'm a member of beat crew Team Supreme. One of the things we like to do is make lots of music, share our ideas and techniques to create even better cool music. And what I'm going to do today is make a beat and show you guys some of the things I like to do. When I start making a beat, I'll start by scrolling through some drum sounds, picking the ones that grab my attention immediately, put together a quick rack of 16 drum sounds, and program a quick beat, set the mood, set the vibe, and go from there. Once I have a bit of a beat going, basic rhythmic structure, I move on to the lead melodic material. Simple melody that grabs you and takes you through the song. It'll usually be pretty simple, or sometimes it's just sounds and bends and blips and bloops. But it'll be the lead melody, the top line, the figure that you follow along with. The next step is to give it harmonic context. I'll pull up a keyboard instrument, let the track loop, and play the first chords that came to mind, lay it down, and create a nice 8/16 bar loop. That is my harmonic and emotional template. I don't use so many presets. I like to start my sounds from scratch. It forces you to put more time in it because the starting point will not be ready to go. It will require some time and some tweaking and some thinking, but no matter what, that time and work will lead to a unique result. When I add a new element to a beat, the first thing I think about is the pure subjective, emotional feeling I'm trying to capture. Whether it makes you happy, sad, it's terrifying, it's friendly, it's funny, it's stern, it's militant, it's pleasant. I start with these very subjective terms and find ways to translate that into musical tools. Then from there, I will work down to the finer details. What are the note choices? What are the keys? What are the scales? How loud is it going to be? I basically work all the way from non-musical at all, just pure emotional, sensory, and move down the list until I could estimate the musical details that will create these results. After I laid down these chords on the Rhodes, I felt that it was sounding a little too pretty. So I wanted to add a next layer that would contrast that. So I picked up my bass, ran it through a Ableton amp and cab, and did a reiteration of those chords with some rock intensity. When I record, I like to just keep the tape running and go for a while, kind of combine the recording and the practicing. Keep going until you feel you've ran through at least one pass. That will do the trick. Then I have this long clip. I'll go back, cut it down. Oftentimes I take the end segment, that might be the best. In the end, you have the most options that way, and it creates for a longer loop that could be repetitive down to one measure, even though it's 16 measures, but each one of those feels different because of the human errors and variation, and therefore interesting to hear. The next thing I did was amplify the intensity. So I grabbed an operator and made a saw wave pad that was a bit distorted, reverberated, had lots of noise in there. Something that kind of screamed that I could throw on there to create a big dynamic change from a broken down verse feeling to a full built hooks feeling. I feel like today I have the comfortability and confidence to achieve something close to the results I hear in my head because of the endless trials that I've put in the past, beat after beat after beat, and taking away the self-critical thing that keeps you from showing it, keeps you from putting it out on the internet. It takes time and labor, and in order to put in this time and labor, you have to have a lot of love to be willing to put in that time, but there is a certain amount of hours that will get you to that good enough every time. Music is very physical, even by nature. So when I work, I like to step away from the speakers, change my posture, change my comfortability, try and give myself a new physical and contextual perspective. Stand, sit. Sometimes I'll have the push on the table. Sometimes I put it in my lap, lay back. I might even get up and see how the track feels dance-wise, dance around to it. And I start to think objectively about what feels good, what feels bad, what might be missing, and then I might go back to the impulsive stage, adding more material. Switch back and forth between these two up close, subjective, following actions, stepping away, looking at the painting from further away until the two reach a compromise. Once I had come up with the main section, I decided to create different textures. So I took that same melody that I'd created on the synth, sang it multiple times, created this 8-part harmony by looping 4 of them, taking those 4, pitching them up the octave to create another 4, so that in later portions of the beat, the later half, I could switch between the melody being played on these 2 synths to being sung by 8 of me. Totally new sound, totally new texture. So once I had set up this choir chant melody, I hit convert, put it into a simpler that I could transpose per key, and a certain warp setting that gives it that type of right, weird graininess. And I just used the first note of the melody to make a yelp sound. I think all beats or music can be spun out from the smallest single little idea. It's kind of like musical mitosis, eggs splitting cells. And you could feed on that and go with that and start to introduce a whole nother opinion based on the same idea, like looking at the same argument from 2 sides. That's usually how I could create a B section or a contrasting section. Something that will strike you and shock you and make you say, whoa, didn't see that coming, or I didn't expect that. So after I had built a few sections of the beat, I wanted to create a contrasting section without changing it too much. So I deleted all the chordal elements. Grabbed my bass, put some drive on it to give it some grit, some gristle, and I just did a modal 1-note rock style riff. For the last section, I took elements of the quieter, more broken down vibes and the louder hook section that had came earlier and combined them. And I also added a fair amount of new rhythmic layers just to give it a whole nother level of rhythmic intensity, a smaller grid, faster rhythms. Just went all in. All the elements I had built that I had been stagnating and arranging, particularly in the beginning, let that all go, put them all together and let them drive home. It's enjoyable to think about my own workflow and see how I could achieve the same results easier, more efficiently and quicker, and therefore in a more fun process, and open the door to put that time and love into new sounds and ideas.